We are kind of brothers in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are
Cincinnati.
live. So I'm going to make sure I got this muted before I shut this down here.
We are kind of brothers in a way.
Yeah. We are definitely brothers in a way. That's cute. We're so
From another mother.
let us know. I think you probably should hear a backstory because it's kind of important, right? So for everybody tuning in, hello everyone. You guys can say hi to everybody.
Hi,
of course,
everyone.
we'll have more men join us as we sit here and have this discussion. But so Ron actually was with my current wife when me and her kind of came together. He was the one that actually said to her, "Why aren't we together?"
And this is like after Sherry and I had our separation. And all you had to do is just see them together to know they belong together. It's like a puzzle piece just went together.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's unfathomable.
Well, how much love does this man have in his heart to see that kind of love?
Yeah, I get that.
So
Wow.
he's destined to have connection. It's interesting because when he said, "I want what you and Sherry have." And wherever you are out there, he's waiting for you. He's ready.
Yep.
And it was really interesting because if you look at that, he moves in with my brother and he's been living with my brother ever since I moved into his house with her.
Yeah. Just traded places.
Yeah.
We just traded places.
Now, us as men, where would we have ever accepted that? Ever?
Yeah.
Right? But if you look at as I've gotten to know Ron as intimately as I know him at this point, his heart is made of just pure love. Okay. And he's been through some shit in his life.
Oh, yeah.
But what's interesting is we instantly connected, just like Sherry and I instantly connected. It was almost like we've all known each other's energy for a long time.
Yeah.
It was timeless the way that it all happened, right? But at the same time, it was still deeply rooted in connection. So I can't imagine my life without it.
Vice versa. Yeah. If we were separate, it would be weird. It wouldn't make any sense. We're like, where'd you go?
So Ron, somebody asked, "Are you single?" Somebody out there's already asked, "Is Ron single?"
Yeah.
Yes,
I am
Ron is
currently.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we have, let's see here. We've got a few joining us at the same time. So I want to make sure we can really. I saw Kevin in here, then he disappeared. Okay, there's Kevin again. And he probably got booted out. So I'm going to go ahead and enable him in. So today, what we're going to talk about, gentlemen, is we're going to talk about love. And when I mean we're going to talk about love, as a man, where did you learn to receive love in your life? Think about women you've had relationships with. Think about women that you felt a connection to. How did you let yourself receive love from them? So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just reel back and let each other talk about what you experienced. Because what you actually experienced, there's a lot of women out there, a lot of men out there who don't know how to speak from what they learned to receive. So if it comes down to it and you had to receive love, how did you let yourself do it? Now, if your background, like your mother or your father and what you witnessed there or what you didn't witness there impacted how you receive love, it's very important to say that. And when I mean important, I mean there are so many people who want to understand that and be able to digest that. So they get why they may have felt rejected or get why they might have felt abandoned. So Ron, we'll start with you. Hey, Clinton. Hey, Kevin. Just in case you didn't hear, Clinton, we're going to be talking about how you receive love.
Right.
So we're going to kind of start with Ron, Clinton, Kevin. And it looks like we have a special guest in here somewhere sneaking in. Hi. So anyway, let's hear from it, Ron. How did you learn to receive love?
Oh, I'm still learning, to be honest, to receiving. Been working with Amy on that, as you well know, Lee.
Yeah.
It's been a work in progress, getting better all the time in all of our sessions. It's more about how, from Amy and I, the way we connected is about how we feel it coming into us and not thinking about it. When we put thought into it, it kind of dissolves that and turns it into a thought and not a feeling. So when you're able to feel it, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I light up inside. I get the goosebumps, the chills, everything's bright and airy. It's just, it's kind of hard to describe in words, but it's just a wonderful feeling to have.
Is that easy for you to show that to somebody you feel that way towards?
For me, it is. I'm getting better at it. Yes, it's a lot easier now because I'm not thinking about it. I'm just letting it happen.
Yeah. How was it before?
I thought about it. This is the way love should feel. This is how I think it should feel. And when you don't get that, you get disconnected, as I'm finding out. And when you get disconnected, you're not really with yourself. You're not with anybody. You're just there. It's just a thought process, to where if you eliminate the thought and you let that feeling come in, you get to experience what that love is. Does that make sense? I hope.
Absolutely. That is, when I hear that, I think about what you must have been experiencing when you'd see Sherry and I, right?
Right.
I didn't know how to hold back, whereas for a majority of my life, I can definitely cut it off.
I definitely learned how to do that. I could turn it off and on like a light.
Right. But when you actually feel that way towards someone, I think what was really confusing for us in the beginning with the way, how tumultuous that was. Oh, yeah. It was like I was trying to be in my head about who she wanted me to be rather than being in my heart with I knew who she needed me to be.
Right. And I did the same thing when we were together.
Right. Yeah.
And that, it didn't really mess things up, but it didn't help things either.
No.
Because we had that little gap right there. Right. And when Sherry and I were together, we both had that going on. We were both thinking, this is what it's supposed to be like, but it's not happening like we think it should be happening. Had we done that, I don't know what would have happened. But because of what happened, we are where we are now, and we're better for it.
Yeah. Still connected.
Yep.
Still very connected. Andrea, how about you? How did you receive love?
How did I receive? I don't even know how to begin that conversation.
Yeah. I want you to think about the last relationship, or how about this? How do you receive love from your mother? You're welcome.
Thanks.
It's on video now. She's going to watch this one day.
I would say, sadly, I don't receive love from my mom.
Is there a reason why?
Yeah. I felt that my parents have been overly, nurturing on me, and I felt trapped.
Wait a minute. Let's slow down. So the more love you received, the more you felt trapped?
From them, yeah.
Why did you feel trapped?
I felt like I didn't have any space for myself. Like I felt like they were always in my business. They were always, wanting to control me, wanting to know everything that I'm doing and to influence everything that I'm doing.
And when you felt that way, did you feel good enough to receive what they were giving you?
I think I did, but I lost myself when I did that.
What word do you think we heard you say?
But
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you ended up not feeling good enough to receive from them. Now imagine this in a relationship where somebody's coming at you with a whole bunch of love. And you don't feel like you are doing the things that that person would love about you. So you would end up telling yourself you weren't good enough. You do realize you're good enough, right?
Yeah, it must be. Because I was
Not
sent
must
here by
be.
God.
It's not a must. If you, I bet you right now, if you looked at all of the live chat stream of what we're talking about, they can see your energy. They can feel your energy. Not one of them is saying you're not good enough. Do you realize that?
Okay.
Can you feel it? You can feel it, though. You can feel their energy. When you feel loved, we have a tendency to want to go in our heads and tell ourselves a story about what they actually love. We create an identity for them to love. That's not what they mean.
What do they mean?
You can feel that answer. You don't have to actually ask. There's another space in there where somebody just wants to be in your energy, be a part of you. See, your feminine energy that you've received from your mom would tell you that it doesn't matter what you do, her love for you will never change. When have you ever accepted that?
I don't know. I haven't.
Did you notice you didn't say now?
Now? No, I didn't.
Yeah. So this is the space where we're not taught connection. We're not taught love. We're not taught how to receive. We're always told how to give. You will get browbeaten from the day you're born to the day you die, how you need to give. but why would you ever give what you haven't received?
Exactly.
Right. Why don't you let your mother love the real you? Oh, good breath.
I'm afraid of pain.
Wait a minute. You mean she won't love you if you're in pain?
I'm afraid that I receive pain from her and the whole family, and I don't know how to cope with all of that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think the day you were born, your mother was in pain when she brought you out of her? Do you believe she was in pain?
Yeah.
Were you worthy of that pain?
Yes.
Why are you telling yourself you're not now?
Because in my mind wants to, my mind thinks that it's in control.
What is your mind ever in control of? Man? No, if you really had to ask your mind, what do you want control over? What would your mind say? I don't know what control is. Why are you asking me? Right?
Yeah.
Your mind believes that control is a real thing. It can control how you feel. Your mind is responsible for the way you stay disconnected from yourself. Has it ever been responsible for being connected to yourself?
No.
Then why are you even looking in your mind for your answers? Oh, Mama's Boy just came out. Yeah, see that breathing you're doing? That's like you just took your first breath again. Pain?
Yeah.
What do you believe is on the inside of pain? As a man, what do you believe is in there?
Love. God.
Mm,
Connection.
amen. A fucking man. Sorry, had to add drama. The F-bomb deserved to be in there because it's the truth. But when do you let yourself have the truth?
When do I let myself have the truth? What's the truth
You only have now. The truth is,
now?
if you're not connected to the you inside of your pain, why would you ever let anyone be connected to you? Ever.
Yeah.
I'm connected to the you inside of your pain. Ron is, Kevin is, Clinton is, everyone watching. Why don't you join us? What have you got to lose?
I'm here.
Me too. And you know what? If you went to your mother and told her you were afraid of your pain, would that change how she loves you?
No.
Because she believes whatever pain you're in is worth it because the pain that she went through to bring you here. We discount ourselves, not realizing that. You're allowed to be loved with your pain, not without it. Isn't that right, Clinton?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
How do you receive love, Clinton?
Being vulnerable.
What's vulnerability to you as a man?
Putting aside the fear of that if I talk about what's wrong or what I feel, that I'm going to get ridiculed for it. I'm going to be put down for it.
How hard is that?
Oh, fucking hard.
Is it hard for you to express what you feel because you're judging it?
Yeah.
Do you know any men in your life or any man you've ever met who doesn't have the same issue?
Every single one of them does.
And it connects us, right?
Yeah.
And we separate ourselves from women based on this, not realizing that they have the same damn thing.
Yeah. But then we let the alpha male kick in and say, wow, fuck it, I know best.
Oh.
I know what I'm doing. Yet we're just tearing ourselves apart inside.
What do you love about the alpha male?
I don't. I've been around it my whole life. I've been around, with my career choices and that, I've been around it every single day. And there's nothing I like about it.
Now you're a military man like Ron, right? Yeah. Military is pretty much your backbone.
Yeah.
In the military, what were you taught about vulnerability?
You're not. There's nothing that we get taught about being vulnerable. Everything is taught about, in my trade, you can't show fear, you can't show sympathy, and you couldn't show empathy. because it showed a vulnerability. It showed a weakness that you didn't want people to take advantage of. So you become this hardened being. You end up hating everything. You hate everyone, even your mates. Though you'll do anything for them, you'll die for your friends. There were still aspects about them that just grind your gears. But the worst part of it is when you're having to deal with civilians. You learn to absolutely loathe civilians.
Wow.
Because it's a totally different concept of life, and you get taught that, and you believe that what you're doing, the way you live, and what you experience is right.
So
We get taught about the grey areas, but military is very black and white.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you are a man or a woman and you had to sign something that stated you had to give up your feelings for the rest of your life, for others to be able to have freedom to feel everything.
Yeah.
Would you sign it?
Well, I did.
Was that stated to you before you joined?
No.
So as an empath, you felt you wanted to join a cause that was based on feeling, but then you had to give up the right for what you joined.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Because when we join, you're joining for that sense of belonging, and you get that. Yeah, it's smashed into you from the very second you step off the bus. It's smashed into you that you belong, whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
But you're
Well, Clinton, you belong here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're here now. You're a part of a bigger family, and a family that values how you feel.
Yeah.
All of you.
Yeah, and that's the difference I'm noticing now. Like I love being this. I absolutely love it.
So the love that you received before,
Yeah,
was hard for you to do.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
And you had to go find a family that would receive you, even if you didn't tell them how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt at home with the military.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Lee.
How do you receive love, Kevin?
Man, I feel like that this session should have came with a preface of how deep we were going, or at least we should have started off with the easy questions. You didn't take any time messing around today.
Well, here's the thing, Kevin. When is anything ever that's been easy ever got you love?
Nothing ever.
Okay. So
To
how do you
answer,
receive love, Kevin?
it's something I'm still learning to do. I feel like growing up, it was a really hard thing because to me, it felt very conditional.
Also, how did it feel conditional?
So for me, growing up, one of the big things is when things were good, things were good. But when we would upset my mom, it felt very much like things got closed off. Like when you made her upset, she didn't really want to be around you or have a whole lot to do with you. So it was like when things were okay, or as long as you weren't doing anything to rock the boat, if you will, things were fine then. But when you made a mistake or you did something that agitated her, it was very completely shut off the valve there. And so you were in isolation until she calmed down and felt better about whatever it was that you did to piss her off. And so it was kind of you were in this limbo because you really never knew how long it was going to take before things were better again. And so for a long time, I look a lot younger than I am, but for a long time, it really something that stuck in me, and I didn't realize that my love was very conditional to others, because when I felt upset, naturally, growing up seeing the same thing, I wanted to isolate myself until I felt better. And so I wanted to give the same thing I got. And, through talking to folks like you guys and therapy and things like that, it's something I'm working to change, because even now I have an estranged relationship with my mom. So it's something that we're still working on, but I've realized that
I actually have a question, Kevin.
Sure.
Are you saying that you carry a belief system based on a woman who will love you and is connected to you? You have to make her happy before you'll actually receive love?
It felt that way very much, yes.
And when you actually had to look the belief system in the truth, when did mom tell you that's what you had to do to receive her love?
Verbally, never, but her actions spoke that involved.
There we go. Did you realize the moment you said but, you're still powering the belief system? How is that fair to you or mom?
Oh, it's not, especially to me.
So why don't you just let go of the belief system?
Well, I'm all on board with that. Easier said than done when you've lived with it for so long, but I'm all on board with the idea.
The past still has power over the present.
Indeed.
And how are you staying connected to you when that happens?
Oh, you're not. I mean, there's no way around that. But
no, I'm still going through that shit. If I could pull myself out and choke myself, I would. Tell me you don't ever feel the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you will beat yourself up thinking you just made a mistake and you're not going to be loved. You will walk into the room expecting not to be loved. And that's exactly what you get.
Yeah.
Now you're with your twin, right?
Yes.
And this is the experience every single fucking time, right? You're kind of like, wait a minute. Did I just disconnect from myself, walk into the room, get disconnected from, and then got mad at her for disconnecting from me when I was already disconnected from myself?
Basically.
How fast are you catching that now?
More than I used to. It's as they say, some habits die hard, and this has been a one that I keep stabbing and stabbing and stabbing at it, and then it keeps coming back from the dead.
Well, do you know why it keeps coming back? Have you gone into how deep this actually goes in you?
Well, finding the real root of it was the big process of it, because to recognize it for what it was took a long time. What's the actual root? Oh, the root is not believing that I'm worth the love in the first place.
Can you go deeper than that? Are you enough?
I am.
Do you treat yourself that way?
Not always.
Did you notice you didn't say yes?
I did.
Do you have a connection to the you that just said not always?
I do.
Does it sound like it?
No.
That is the root, isn't it?
It is.
This is one of the biggest things I found that make me stop receiving love. I wasn't getting to the root. When you're in connection to yourself, how do you find those disconnects within you that'll give you the greater ability to be loved? We run from ourselves.
Indeed.
I can't think of how many times that I didn't feel like I did the right thing, showed up the right way, said the thing that needed to be said. Now, mind you, I'm not in my mind a lot of the time, but when I get trapped in there, it's in a very dark place because of all of the ways that I found to connect to myself. But I realized it was never ending. Our disconnects, our ability to either receive love or not receive love, is found in our disconnects, not in our connects.
I find the mental part to be more of a matter of escapism than running. I guess it's the same thing, really. You're escaping from what's really real, and what's really real is usually better than what you're trying to escape to in the first place.
Do you have a belief system that says you should believe what you think before you believe what you feel?
We're taught that very much from a young age. You process your feelings here before it gets here, and if it doesn't make sense, it never makes it past the head to here.
When has your thinking ever made sense?
That's generally my requirement. If it doesn't make sense, it ends there. So that's been my biggest challenge in just letting myself feel things, because if it doesn't check, then why go any further with it? But feelings don't make sense, and that's been the big challenge for me as a whole.
Is your thinking telling you your feelings don't make sense?
Thinking tells me that my and a lot of feelings, to include others, don't make sense, because they don't.
So basically, your mind finds a way to tell you that you're connected or disconnected.
Both.
Which one do you think it does more?
Disconnect.
So
Because
you still let it have the energy when it does that.
allowing it and recognizing it and trying to stop it is the process for me.
When your mind has created emotions in you, how do you accept yourself?
Two separate questions, or are you asking when that does that? How do I do
When
that?
your mind creates emotions out of your feelings,
Yes.
how do you accept yourself?
In that instance, if it makes sense, then I do. And if it doesn't, I don't.
The trick question was yourself is your feelings.
Oh, I know.
But it's hard to ground yourself in your feelings.
It's hard to step outside of that when you let it consume you. And that's the problem.
What do you let consume you? Your thinking or your feelings?
The thinking about the feelings.
Oh. And how can you receive love when you're doing that?
You absolutely can.
So you're saying we're just like women when it comes to that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. So you mean we're equal the way
Oh,
we
yeah.
treat ourselves when it comes to this space alone? After living in this environment long enough, I realized that is when we need to be equal to each other, we have to tell each other what we think of ourselves.
That's not a lie.
It's the funniest conversation you've never heard. But literally, I will say to myself, oh, she did that to piss you off because she knows you ain't worth a shit. And I'll say that out loud. She's like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, but I'm going to treat you like you did. Because tell me that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It happens so much. And we are escaping so much love because we believe that's the truth. Your thinking of how you think about yourself because of how other people treat you makes you abandon how your actual actions stand out against yourself.
Well, and like you said, we're all the same. We just attend different schools to teach us the same bad ways of thinking about things. We run in circles of men and women growing up, and we just teach ourselves completely different ways to arrive at the same bad habit.
When were you ever taught to be connected to how you feel?
Oh, you're not.
And I'm sure everybody watching this who's found connection is realizing how deep that truth really goes. You know, when I was like, let's do this men's thing, and you were like, hey, I've had the same, and we could see it. We could see that there's not a forum, there's not a place where we can say our feelings, we feel you, and then we feel us. But when we feel us, we're so down on ourselves at this point, we stop you from being connected to what we feel. Because that's what we were taught growing up. I was loved anyway for not being connected to how I feel. So if I'm connected to you, there's an expectation that I have to meet within myself that says my feelings can't be met. Because when did your mother ever connect to how you feel?
She didn't.
Then here's the trick question. When did you let her?
I didn't.
So we practice I didn't with any woman we meet in this connection based on this. Oh, if we're connected, you're going to let me get away with whatever the fuck I want to do. And that's literally, we learned that from our mothers. And then they're like, why is he acting this way? And we're sitting over there going, you said you're connected to me and I feel a connection to me. So I can act however I'm going to act and you're going to love me anyway. Whoops. Red flag. And this isn't like the 50-yard line. This is all of it. The grass, the field post, the stadium, the whole city, and then the whole world concerned around it, because we're sitting there going, no, you have to love me for all the bullshit I've done. And if you don't, I'm going to do a whole lot more to you. That's literally what we're saying. I'm going to break this connection and you're still going to love me. Because that's what daddy did. And he didn't only do it to you. Every father has that space where we don't connect to our children. Because when were we taught to be connected to how they feel?
When there's a problem.
Generations this has been, but when we first got here as human beings, we connected to our children, whether we were mother or father. And nobody's talking about it, and we've separated it, and we keep it separate. How are you supposed to receive love if that's what you're taught?
You don't. You can't.
Can't. Don't you love that word? Can't. If it comes down to it and we look at why we're all here doing this, if you had the opportunity to look a woman in the eyes and tell her how you feel, where would you have learned to do that? Did your mom pull it out of you ever?
No.
The woman who brought you into this world didn't show you how to express what you feel.
No.
So why would you trust connection after that?
That's why it's been hard.
If a woman who brought you in this world showed you high emotion, showed you all kinds of different things, but she never showed you why she was doing it all, would you ever trust connection?
No.
How about you, Clinton?
Yeah, nah, it's
If a woman who brought you in this world never showed you why she made all the choices she made, would you ever trust connection?
No.
Mayantra, would you ever?
No.
How about you, Ron?
I do now. There was a time when I didn't, but I do now.
Why now?
Just what me and Amy been talking about. Why I disconnected from her. It wasn't the other way around.
Yeah.
So I'm connecting back. It makes sense now.
Did you finally realize that you needed to make sense of your connection to mom, not her connection to you?
No. I just, had to be open to that connection instead of being closed off from it.
Can you say
Not
that
give it not give it that thought process.
Can you say that again? Because you don't understand how many people needed to hear what you just said. No, seriously, it needs to land.
Yeah, you got
in
to
a space.
Yeah, you can't think about it. You got to be open. If you start thinking about things, it closes you off. It disconnects that connection. Then it becomes a thought process. I should be feeling this. I should be feeling that. She should be feeling this. She should be feeling that. That's not it. You got to be open to that. You can't think about it. If you think about it, you're back to where you were, and you're not going to move forward. If you come in open, that connection's already there. You have to open yourself up to it.
What if you start second guessing yourself and start telling yourself, oh, I need to not let this happen or let that happen, what does that do on the male side of it? Let's say that a woman is wanting to be with you, she's completely open, and then all of a sudden her dialogue in her head starts going and she starts second guessing being with you. How does that feel?
If you're open, you can feel that and you can stop it.
Do you feel that you're being rejected?
No,
Right.
because you feel like you're actually what you're feeling. It's not, she's rejecting you. She's not rejecting you. She's rejecting herself.
And when she's
Frozen that
rejecting
connection.
herself, if she catches herself and stops rejecting how she feels and goes with it, does it open things up?
Yes, it does.
Say
Then
that
you can see
again.
Then you can
Yes,
see
it does.
that. Yeah.
You mean all we have to do is just go, wait a minute. She's just opened back up. We need a second to figure that out, don't we?
Yeah.
Because have you ever been smart enough to catch when a woman has just beat herself up over opening up to you and then realized, like, wait a minute.
Nope.
She came back and said, no, I'm open. I'm open. And then you had to second guess, like, wait, no, this seems to what? You literally have to pause because you stop the feeling when you try to just shut it off. And you didn't realize that you disconnected. You didn't disconnect from her. You disconnected from you because you felt a whole bunch of energy towards her. And then when you cut it off, you didn't open it back up. And then by the time you do open it back up, they closed off. Do you ever notice that? Now, this may not make a lot of sense to people who haven't experienced connection. But the people who've experienced connection, they're going, oh, you mean because I went into my head and they were sitting in their feelings, and then I was staying in my head and they were in their feelings. And then when I realized I was in my head, and then I realized I was rejecting my feelings, I was rejecting them. And then I realized I was doing that. So I stopped doing that. And then what was I supposed to do? Be patient. Because who isn't infected with that? Who isn't infected with that? You're infected with that in career, your life, your relationships, your family. You will be infected with that for the rest of your life. The choice is this: you're also the cure. Your thinking will never let you have connection. It wasn't designed to. It wasn't trained to. Even your first day of kindergarten, you walked in there, let's put on our thinking caps, and we all went, what the fuck? What about this? What about my heart? You guys were all listening to my heartbeat when I came into this fucking planet, and now all of a sudden you want me to go to my head? Complete and utter shock. What I think dictates my life. What I feel doesn't. Why not now? As a man, I don't ever remember a point in my life where my mother did it to me a few times. She didn't ask me what I was thinking. She just stopped and said, what are you feeling? This is a trick question. Wait a minute. We don't talk about feelings. What are you doing? You throw me off with this. But now I see maybe my mother was more awake than I was. Because when I really look at my life and I look at men as we all sit here, we are shocked when somebody makes how we feel important. Not only are we shocked, we're scared. You can literally get a man to shut down and you won't have any clue why. But these men right here will tell you, if you ask me, How did my day go? I'm going to be able to just come up with a bunch of stuff, blah, 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 blah. But if you say, how are you feeling? We're shocked and we're afraid to answer the question because it's not common for us to be asked how we feel.
Feels like a trick.
Whew. If tomorrow, Ron, your mother picked up the phone and said, I just wanted to call and see how you're feeling, would you not pull the phone back and look at it? She
Before,
called
yes.
and you questioned yourself.
Yeah, I would have done that. Going, what the hell's going on? Why is she asking this for? She never says that before.
Right. Never.
Yeah.
This is where the nevers start to impact us as men. They're never going to want to know how I feel. They're never going to pay attention to how I feel. That's what I think, not what I feel. But if a woman comes and wants to know how I feel, I'm not going to know how to answer. So we are underdeveloped in feeling, but at the same time, we feel every fucking thing. We feel more than we ever say. And we don't know how to communicate from that. And we are punished, penalized, and then treated without divine. Not by other people outside of us. We're doing this inside of ourselves. Is it okay to feel as a man?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kevin? Do you think if you worked outside tomorrow, went to work, and you got around all the boys and went, I'm feeling pretty fucking confused about my life. Everybody would look at you and be like, oh shit, suicide watch. Everybody watch Kevin, call Kevin later. They literally wouldn't spend the time to ask you about your feelings.
And you might not see them for a little bit.
You might not see them for a little bit. We separate each other from each other because of feeling.
Indeed.
But then when a woman wants to know how we feel, it's the same energy. Because growing up, when were your feelings made a priority? Now, I think this is where it really happens. At childhood, as a woman or a man, whose feelings are made more important? As men, what do you think the answer is? Are a man's feelings or a little boy's feelings more important than a little girl's feelings?
Little girls
Whose feelings are looked at and catered to?
The little girls.
Yeah. What do you think, Kevin?
I think in the big picture, it's highly dependent on the people. I think that it depends, if the parents, the people doing the raising, because I've seen it go both ways. But as a society generally, morally, if you hurt a little boy's feelings versus if you hurt a little girl's feelings, the repercussions and how it would be looked at are two completely different things.
And we resent each other because of it.
Yeah.
When we literally meet somebody older and they have feelings and we have feelings, we know that we have to trash our feelings for them. And we were never told that. We were taught something that kind of made that like it was something that is, right? But we were never told those words.
Right.
So we grow up believing these beliefs, and it separates us. Each one of you, Ron, Kevin, Diandra, Clinton, your feelings, how do you let them known when you love someone? We will be severely lacking in this space, not because of the person we're with. It's because of what we've been through, how our feelings were accepted outside of ourselves if we expressed them. If they were not accepted, why would you ever show them? And then feelings you didn't know how to express, and nobody took the time to sit with how you felt. Why would you express them?
That's why therapy is a booming business these days.
And therapy will help you to cope.
That's it.
But when does it ever help you to heal? That's the trick. If I can put you in therapy and help you cope, will you ever heal?
Not unless you do the work.
Do you think you're in therapy to heal or cope?
I mean, ideally, it could be either, but ideally, you came there because you were so overwhelmed by what you felt or what you thought that you couldn't deal with it anymore.
This is one thing that I saw that really jumped out at me. When I was having my internal dialogue and I started writing, I remember I titled one particular blog, Help or Healing? Which did I want and why? I never wrote anything after I put both. That was the title of the blog, and I kept staring at it going, I want to choose healing, but there's nothing I can write after it because everything out there is about help. And the help didn't do anything to fucking healing. And I kept going, wait, you mean we have to make a choice? You either want help or you want healing. Which one would you choose? And why? Help, you'll still make the same choices you always made. Healing, brand new choices, eye-opening choices that you didn't even know you could make. Help, constant, easy to do. I won't have to get attached to what you feel. Meanwhile, you'll still remain disconnected and make the same stupid choices, right? It's like, well, gee, I need to get help. No, I want healing. So when we created, it was interesting because the dialogue back and forth between us, when I asked her, I said, why do I have to know how I felt about my father? I don't want to I don't want to heal with him. And she was like, look at how your body is responding to what you're saying. She said, if I'm in the masculine and I come towards you, you have that energy. How are we connected if you have that energy? Well, I'm not good enough, right? So you run away because that's the mind dialogue when all there's available is help, not healing. As a man, who accepts how you feel? Anybody want to answer? Either one of y'all want to just jump up and say, as a man, oh, hi, Gemma, who accepts how you feel?
Besides ourselves?
Okay. How do you accept yourself?
I do.
You accept everything you feel?
Yeah. I do now. There was a time when I didn't.
As I've gotten to know you, your vulnerability is probably one of the strongest I've seen in a man other than myself.
Oh, yeah.
You don't, if you come in and you feel whatever it is you're feeling, you don't stuff it down. You come in and you let me know exactly what you're feeling, how you're feeling it. And if it makes you cry, you don't hold back. If it makes you upset, you don't hold back. And I can always feel the love behind every feeling you express.
Oh, yeah. That goes both ways. We both feel that with each other.
Yes, but we wouldn't have learned it without each other.
It's true.
We didn't have it with our fathers.
No.
I do now. I didn't have it before,
Here.
right?
Yeah.
So it's not like connection doesn't heal in every direction. As men, being connected to each other makes more sense than not.
It's Lee. That's one thing I've noticed about doing this root camp second time around. That first time I was really sort of just played the game. I was just playing the game with myself. But this time around, as we go deeper and deeper, it's even before we start the sessions, and that the feelings start. And even doing these now, you feel everything. And now I've got no need to block anything off. I just feel it. And it's awesome.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
One of the biggest things I realized, Clinton, that in the game, you get to tell yourself one particular rule to the game. Tell everyone what the rules are.
Tell them
Game's
what they
over.
want to hear.
Game is over after that. Right?
Yeah.
And see, we don't come with the rules because we're still creating the rules, because we create expectations. And once you create expectations, and you realize you'll never meet your own expectations, so you'll raise your expectations for everyone else. That rule is the worst one. Right? You're going to have to jump over the hoop because I didn't see the hoop. Makes no sense, right? Kevin, when you're with that person, you're connected to them. Those rules that you're creating, you don't even. When you expose those rules, she looks at you like, "What the hell? I didn't even know that was a rule." They didn't, and we're like, "Well, you've been failing it this whole time. Now you know." Right? We hold on to what they didn't do when we have the rule in place.
And
we
then
have a question. Sometimes your parents shut you down when you express your feelings. What do you do then? I have tried several times with my mother, and she doesn't want to listen. Now, what I want you to think about is think about your mother. I want you to answer this one. When she shuts you down in a feeling that you feel passionate about, how do you approach your mom with that?
I don't.
Really?
I used to. I don't anymore.
What do you mean you used to? What would happen when you would do it before?
Just more discussion, more disagreement.
Did you accept her rejecting you?
No, because it had to be my way. Because I'd play the victim and I'd see them as the not enemy, but I'm blaming them.
Right. What were you a victim of?
Abuse, emotional abuse.
And did you let them know that's what you felt?
No, because I felt that if I expressed that too would be belittled.
So you didn't express to them that it was emotional abuse for you. You went inside and told yourself if you expressed any more, that would be belittled, and that wasn't abuse to yourself?
Yeah, it is abuse to myself.
So their rejection of whatever it was you were feeling made you reject what you were feeling ultimately.
Yeah, I'm rejecting myself because
And,
yeah,
and did you blame them for that?
yeah. It's
Did they
easier to
know,
blame them. Yeah.
they know you were doing that?
No, I don't think they would even think about that. They don't think.
Well, I
They
guess,
just are.
well, actually, they do know. And here's how they know. Did you let them love that part of you?
The part of me that's not
Rejected
seen.
yourself.
Yeah, they do.
They love the part of you that rejects yourself. So you probably practice rejecting yourself quite a bit.
Right.
And that part of you that had to feel being rejected, do they have access to that part of you?
No.
So this is how you found a way to hide yourself in love.
Yes.
So that part of you that would hide yourself in love, don't you need to be loved? Can you heal without connection?
No.
Then why don't you let him out?
I'm afraid that if I give my power away, then if I be vulnerable with my parents, that would be taken advantage of and used against me to further control me or tell me what to do.
So in your mind, you've told yourself that would happen if you let them know what you felt.
Yes.
And you don't see that as manipulating yourself. Because how much of it is the truth if it didn't happen?
But I mean, just a few days ago, I had relative call my dad, telling them that I should be going or why don't I go and work as a doctor in Sri Lanka, and then I was experiencing. I mean, this has been always my life, is people trying to tell me what to do. And I would, instead of listening to myself, I would be like, oh yeah, maybe this, maybe I should do that, and I'd be lost. And I didn't.
Do you see that as them believing in you or telling you who to be?
Now I would say it's both.
Which one do you think you give more energy to? See, it's hard to come to that. Well, I want to say believing in me, but that's not it, right? I
would
to
love to say believing in me, yeah.
Right, but we want to tell ourselves that the people we're connected to want to control us.
I don't think it's their fault, but I think that that's innately in people. Tend to follow their mind, and that's what they believe they need to do.
Do you believe your parents know that you think that they want to control you?
I don't think my parents want to control me. Not now, because I think I've done the internal work for them to see that. But they can get influenced by people outside of my internal family, and then that changes the dynamics, and then I got to actually do the work again, and then it goes away. And
You know what's interesting? Since I've met
Yeah.
you, since I've met you and I watched, when we met each other in the One Love Humanity, right? And instantly, as soon as I listened to your voice and was in your energy field, I automatically knew healer. I didn't say doctor. I didn't say anything else. There was something about the way you were speaking, the way you felt, what you were bringing out. There was a healing aspect to it. So when people run into your energy field, they may be saying this to your parents because they believe in you too. Does that occur to you?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
I don't like compliments and I don't want to be a healer because I'm a healer. Right? Well, sometimes, you come into this world and you're meant for something, and that something is meant for you. It doesn't mean that that's what you have to choose. But I mean, if people are experiencing a healing aspect from you, why push away? Why not let yourself go? You know what? Maybe they want me to be a doctor. Maybe they want me to be all these things. In me, I need to make sure it's known what I want to be. And if you don't know, you do realize that's okay, right? I mean, when you put pressure on yourself to be what they want you to be, how are you focusing on what you really want to be?
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
You have amazing energy. That's why I invited you, because I'm like, you have connection without knowing really that you have it.
No, I work for it. I practice, I meditate, I do all of that to raise my energy.
Does meditation help you love yourself as a man? Oh. You got a giggle out of that one. Has meditating ever helped you love yourself?
No.
Right. What has helped you love yourself?
Acceptance, receiving, connection. It's connection.
Is any of those things possible without being vulnerable?
No.
And how often do you practice vulnerability?
This is what I want to say is, even vulnerability, the mind wants to have its own version of that. So I'll often say, yeah, I'll be vulnerable, but it's got to be in a certain way. But true vulnerability is what you guys have been doing.
Amen. What is vulnerability to the male aspect of being on this planet? Ron, what is vulnerability to you?
Right now or then in the past? And being
How about
vulnerable
now is important because that can at least show the evolution.
right now, being vulnerable means, being open. It's a strength. It's not a weakness.
Which means all your feelings are available no matter what.
Exactly.
Okay. Kevin, what's vulnerability?
To me, it's just being authentic with whatever it is that you feel or think at a given time. If it's good, if it's bad, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's not something you're stuffing or compartmentalizing somewhere. You're not trying to put it away for a later date or hold it back because it's inappropriate, or not say it because somebody might not hear it. It's whatever you are in that moment, being willing to share that with whoever or whatever it is.
Is authenticity the same as truth?
Some people dress it up as that and it isn't, but for me it is. Because I think if you're authentically yourself, you're being truthful about who and what you are in a given moment. To me, that's what authenticity is.
Hey, Omar, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man.
How y'all doing?
All right, man. We're having this talk. You know how it is.
Yes, I do. I guess I came in at the right time.
Yes, sir. You ready to talk about vulnerability?
Vulnerability, yeah.
Yeah.
Why
What's vulnerability to Omar?
Not being afraid to feel. That's in the whole thing, not being afraid to feel, whatever that may be, but not being afraid to feel.
Do you feel that it's okay to express that you're afraid of what you're feeling?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. How about it, Clinton? What's vulnerability? Army guy.
Yeah, everything that everyone has spoken about. But it's also meant for me that it's helped me rediscover what I'm passionate about. So, you know, I love painting, I love drawing. And since I've started this, it's helped me rediscover that I love doing it. And it's also helped me realize that what I do, what I paint, what I draw, no matter how this is looking at it, when I see it through what I'm feeling, I realize that I'm good at it. I'm not looking at what I'm doing and thinking, oh, fuck that shit, and I'll screw it up and throw it away. It's letting me see that, you know, with all the mistakes that I've made throughout my entire life, or what I've perceived as mistakes, that it's been okay. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm not this image of perfection that I believed I was meant to be. I'm allowed to make these mistakes. I'm allowed to admit them, or I'm allowed to admit to them, and it's okay to own them. Where before it was always like, you'd make a mistake and it was, oh shit, no, that's somebody else's problem. So I didn't do that. You're always looking for someone else to pass it on to. Where now it's, nah, that's mine. I own it. What can I learn from it? So that's what vulnerability is teaching me.
Beautiful.
Something else at this stage, anyway. I'm still early on in the journey, but yeah. And that's the other thing, actually. Sorry, it's knowing that the journey doesn't stop once, like, we've finished, say, this conversation. It's something that we can continue on to every aspect of every day. It just doesn't stop. It's always there, and it's understanding and realizing that it's always there. It never goes away. And that's what I'm starting to really love about this.
Vulnerability for me has been evolution. All the things that I let time dictate about me, the way I felt about them, are here and now. The more I sat in what I felt and didn't have the words for, I cried a lot about it. You know, I think through a lot of the dark nights of the soul that I've gone through, in connection and out of connection, some of the best releases I've ever experienced have come from vulnerability. Knowing that I couldn't make a difference, knowing that I couldn't punish myself anymore in my mind, and that how I ended up having to feel because of the way I was thinking about it. My feelings just didn't have access to my thinking. And I knew somehow, everybody was infected with this. And I couldn't communicate that to anyone. So then I sat in that vulnerability for a really long time. I sat in the feelings that I didn't realize had communication of their own. I didn't let my mind stop enough to realize that my feelings, if I sat with them long enough, the hurt would subside. The pain would be worth it. I didn't know how to connect to that space within me. But once I did, everything in connection made sense. My choices, my responses to my choices, my reactions. You know, when I sat in everything I was feeling, and once I actually just really said, you know what, this is uncomfortable as hell. But is this why I was pushing everyone away? Because it was uncomfortable as hell. What if I didn't push anyone away and stayed uncomfortable as hell? What would happen to me? As an empath, you start to connect to what other people feel and can feel what they're communicating. We've lost our ability to connect. I wanted all of you guys to be here because an awakened man is a hidden one, but we shouldn't be. There are men trying to raise sons. There are men who are not raising anyone who need to know that their feelings can be connected to. We're not here on this planet not to connect. We will return back to connection the same way we came from connection. You just won't have thoughts. Welcome to death. No more thinking. Doesn't that sound free? It sounds like we'll finally get out of this hellhole when we can stop thinking. That's literally what it will be, but we don't know that because we're here trying to just connect to how we feel. We're in a feeling, which represents our energy. But the more you're in your feeling, the more you can be connected to. And as men, that scares the shit out of us. We're like, wait a minute, you're going to connect to how I feel, but what if I'm horny 95% of the time? What are you going to think of me then? We already find a way for them to reject us, don't we? Oh, I'm sorry if all I'm thinking about is sex and you don't want to know that.
Hello.
Right? She's not going to want me because that's all I want. And then we have this one particular phrase we like to use. I'm not looking for a relationship. Stop telling them what you're not looking for and start telling them what you are looking for. How about that for advice? I know that's what you're not looking for, but can you tell me what you're looking for? And we don't know the words, but let me tell you what the word is. Connection. Connect to me, damn it. If a woman walked up to you tomorrow, Clinton, and said, I want to connect to you, you would you be shocked?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. And would you go, she doesn't want to be, I'm not connected to me. Why would she want this? Would you have a dialogue in your head that would start that shit?
Yeah, it's already started. It hasn't happened.
Right.
Started.
Omar, girl comes up to you tomorrow and says, not only do I want a connection with you, you're mine for the rest of my life. And there's a you on the inside that now will feel responsible. Because as kids, when we came in as young men, right, as we started coming to young manhood, what did you learn about women's feelings, girls' feelings?
Oh, to protect them.
Right. Not love them, protect them.
Right.
So if you protect a woman, can you love her?
No, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Absolutely. See, we know that. They don't realize we know that. Why didn't you protect me? Because I'm loving you. if he hit you in the stomach, I thought you should have just kicked him in the nuts. I don't know what you were thinking, right? Well, I'm still loving you, right? But on a different side, though, in our mind, we can't put both together. Do you want me to love you or protect you? I said that to Sherry when she got sick. I was like, I've got to take care of you. I've got to become, I had to be the one. I mean, literally, I put her on her IV. I clean off her bandages. I make sure that she has her meds. I make sure that, she is physically able to do things, but I have to pay attention to how she's thinking of things. At the same time, I'm connected to her. So she said, "You're not my husband. You're my caretaker." And I looked at her and said, "I'm not your caretaker. I'm not your husband. I'm connected to you." And she went, "How dare you?" I was like, "Wait a minute, time. Where's your ammonia level?" Right? Because if you're connected, you can feel them, because I could feel her understanding what I said. But in her mind, all you're doing is taking care of me, and I feel responsible for that. I can't protect you from this disease you already have. A part of me felt useless.
Mhm.
As men, when our women don't feel good and they're not feeling right, we feel like everything we do is wrong. There's nothing we can do right. And I had to go inside of myself and said, "Hey, you're not doing anything wrong. Are you connected to you? Because she can't feel you if you're not. And if you're worried about all the shit you're doing wrong, how's that connected to you?" That was tough. I mean, there were mornings I had to wake up, go get in the mirror and look at myself and go, okay, she's about to wake up and she's probably going to be pissed off because she's still sick. How are you going to show up? And the guy in the mirror would look at me and, "She's not sick." Yes, she is. And you have to be humble before you wake up, and you have to be vulnerable before she even opens her eyes, because she wants to see you. And I had to do that for a couple of weeks until I got it down to where I didn't have to do it. That is connection. Let go of what you think. You keep wanting to show up for somebody. When do you show up for you? Because you can't show up for them if you haven't shown up for you. As men, how do we feel about that? Oh, we don't like that at all. We were brought up to be providers. We were brought up to be there for them. Really? How did you receive somebody being there for you? Where did you learn that? Come on, guys. Anybody? Were you taught that somebody could be there for you? Are we all sitting there going like this at the same time? There are women out there going, "I'll show up for you." And we're over here going, "Weren't taught that. Don't try to give us that, because we're just not accepting that." But there's us on the inside that needs it. And here's another thing. Kevin, do you need to be needed by the woman you're connected to?
Ooh. The ego says yes, but the answer is no. Because the ego wants validation.
How about the you that feels everything?
No, because that's enough.
Wow. Did you realize that's a block?
Mhm.
Did you realize that's a block?
How so?
How can you have complete connection without your needs? How's that possible? It will create separation within a connection, whether you want it to or not. Because at the end of the day, do you get to tell yourself she can show up for your needs or she won't?
No.
So what you end up telling yourself is, I've blocked this. It's a me on this on me. At some point, you start carrying that weight and you have to meet your own needs. What's left for her?
Nothing.
Ooh. And women, does she let you show up for her needs? It's a two-way street with a dead end. Two-way street with a dead end. What do you mean? No, there's no way out of that street. You will literally go down the street, and at the end of the street, there's no houses, there's no farmland, it's emptiness, and it's black in every direction, and you're going, so this is where my needs are supposed to be? Yes. Are you going to put your needs here too? Well, you put yours there first. You're the one that paved the fucking street. Right? And you're like, do you know what I need? Is the question. And if she looks at you and says, you don't let me show up for your needs, what she's saying is, do you receive any love from me at all?
Because that's what you made me do. That's what you made me do for my little homework.
Oh, wasn't that homework fun?
Yeah, it was. He asked me what was my needs? What did I need for my feelings? And I forgot how it goes, but it was a big list.
Yeah.
It was a big list of my needs.
And when did you ever let anybody show up for those?
Never.
There's that never word. God, I can't wait to. Sherry's like, we got to do this whole video on never. And I said, oh, really? She goes, yeah, never. She said, think about it. That is connection. That word has to follow connection no matter where you have it. I was like, I don't understand. She said, do you tell me what you need? And I said, never. She said, see. I was like, oh no. I mean, Andrea, have you ever told a woman what you need?
Yeah. And
okay, Kevin, have you ever told a woman what you need?
Not often, no.
Ron, you ever told a woman what you need?
No. Not until now.
Have you ever told a woman what you need?
In my connection, yes, because we've connected to each other.
Mm.
And we feel those needs. It goes back and forth.
But would you ever let somebody give you what you need when you don't do it for yourself?
No, because then how are you going to know? You don't do it for you. How are you going to know when that happens?
Have any of you men ever put aside your feelings for the person you're with?
yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you tell them you loved them after that?
With thought.
Well, so how can you don't even say did that literally disconnect you from that person once you put your feelings aside for them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah. It's unplugging. You just unplug yourself from.
Now, imagine you meet somebody, you fall in love, and they start doing that to you. They start putting aside their feelings for yours.
Hey, you'll feel that. And you're going to
How long will you stay with them?
Not long.
No,
Not long.
Now, some people stay married 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Because it's I look at it like you're a robot, and I'm not dating a robot.
Mm.
You know, I want you, me personally, I want you to basically have your own mind and have your own needs and wants. But when you cater to only mine, I think something wrong with you. I don't, like, what's the problem? What about yours? Because everybody got wants and needs. I know I do. I got a big list, and I couldn't, it's like a robot to me. So I disconnect, because
What we found is that you have your own mind is the issue. Your mind has decided to tell you inside to put your feelings aside to take on someone else's. You learn this in your childhood. You learn how to abandon your feelings for someone else in your childhood. And nobody ever told you, don't do that.
it comes from the part where it's like, share. You got to share. You got to learn how to share and stuff and all that other stuff. And yeah.
Come on, damn toy, right?
Yeah,
Me
it's
and Ron
mine.
didn't
Why
share
do
on
I
the
have,
playground, did we, Ron?
why do I have to share in his mind? That's how I used to think. And then get mad and throw it. That's me. When I was little. Why I got to share something that was given to me? That's why I think I'm selfish now. But I'm being honest with myself.
Selfish at some point, Omar, turns into selflessness.
Yeah.
Because you feel empty because it's all about you.
That's it. And I'm working on me. But just like I said, growing up in a big family, it's like, and just like I told you, I'm the middle child.
Oh, forgotten.
Okay, I'm the middle child, so I got a boy and a girl older, boy and a girl younger. And
when was it about you?
It was. I always felt it was never.
I almost got you to say never again. I almost got you to say it. All right, so we have a question. What is your opinion on positive thinking? Does the positive feeling, which comes from positive thinking, valid? Or the feeling of trust in your positive thinking is valid? In other words, I guess the question is asking, how do you handle positive feeling? I believe that's a good way to ask the question. When you feel good about something or feel positive about it, because good has been associated with positive, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
I guess it really needs to ask the question, what is positive and negative to you as a man? Who would like to go?
I want Kevin to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for volunteering me.
No problem.
I think positive is anything that you gain something from, whether it's easy or whether it's difficult, whether it's short or long, whether it's painful or not, as long as you come on the other side of something you experience for better, which is pretty much anything, it's a positive thing. I think the only real negativity is when you hold yourself back. That's really the only negative thing, when you're not doing the best that you could be at any given moment. That's really the only negativity that there really is. And I mean, I guess to further that mentality, it's like, when I heard that question, it's kind of like positive thought manifestation, like thinking positively equals, over time, positivity around you and the things that you do and the way that you feel about all of those things, to me. Because I used to be very focused on negative things and all the things that could go wrong, and I still struggle with that, but I still try to be more optimistic about things. And I found in working to change my mindset, it's changed how I feel about things, even when they don't go ideally, if that makes sense.
Well, makes sense. Ron?
I don't see the negative. I don't even feel the negative anymore. Once you get, for me, when I'm connected, kind of like now, there's no negativity. It's not really positive either. It's neutral because I'm feeling it. I'm absorbing it, and then I'm returning that out there for everyone. You know, that connection is going both ways with everyone. There's no negativity there, but it's not positive either. It's more of acceptance than it is anything. For me, anyway. That's what I feel. I can't explain. It can't, say everybody needs to feel that because it's going to be different for everybody. But for me, it's neutral. There's no positive. There's no negative. It's there. I accept it. It's connection.
I like that.
Why does it have to be positive? Why does it have to be negative? Why can't you just bring it in, accept for what it is, and love it?
Okay. Andrea?
I would have to second that. Anything other than that is mind. However, when I say that, I find myself doing the same thing. That's positive, that's negative.
Right. Absolutely. Clinton?
Yeah, I agree with what Ron said, but from my own personal experiences, negativity was whatever I gave power to. So, the amount of times that we let words tear us apart when, after all, they're only words, but we give them the power to, destroy what we feel. I suppose the positive is just truly understanding what we feel and letting it just be. Not giving it anything, but just let it be.
Positivity and negativity for me. A feeling in the body that I'm in flow with is positivity. A feeling in the body that I'm resistant to is negativity. Anytime I find the resistance in the body, I find where my flow is or where it went. My dialogue that my mind makes it out to be tries to judge the experience. Whichever side of judgment wins, I still find the flow. So an example would be, we've just as a small update with what we're in the space now where today we got the call. It could be 24 hours. It could be 18 days. She's going to get a liver. In me, I felt relief, release, scared. And then I felt this other feeling that said, what if? And that feeling of what if, when I heard it in my head, I stayed in the body because I needed to experience whatever this was. We've come a long way. I mean, if you've watched our journey, we've come a long way. And the universe has thrown everything at us. To take away connection at this point from either one of us isn't acceptable. And I had to feel that in my body. So I felt that. And I was like, oh, there's that resistance, right? I was like, wait. And I had to get back in the flow. Well, we knew that over the last 24 hours we had been experiencing this, but I threw my back out, which really wasn't my back going out. It was all of that weight of carrying all of that energy made my back say, oh yeah? You didn't get rid of this negative resistant response. And now I'm going to cripple you until you realize it. All of a sudden, as soon as I realized it, I was like, wait a minute. I wasn't able to wave my arms yesterday. Positive and negative energy is everything that we experience in connection. It's what connects us. It's what makes us move. It's what makes us experience life. It's our car battery on the inside of our human body. You need negative like you need your positive. You will not move without either one because they both create the spark. It's not good and bad. If we're still out there teaching people that positive and negative is good and bad, we're wrong for that. You cannot have connection if you believe that, because you're already against connection, because you believe that. Both have to exist. You don't think that you're having sex and there's not positive and negative energy involved, but it very much is at the spark at its purest form in that space. We just don't realize it. I had to make it simple because once I believed in negative thinking and positive thinking, I was already separated inside of myself. I believed that I needed more positive than I needed negative. But did you realize that the more you focus on being positive, you don't move? You have no movement in your life. You need a negative spark in order to move. Both have to be there for you to move. Both have to be there for you to make different choices. Now, you can side with the flow, or you can side with the resistance. But both are required in connection. Makes no difference, man or a woman. We all have the positive, negative spark. Which one do you choose? Resistance or flow? Have you ever noticed when you're in the flow, there's a whole bunch of resistance coming? It don't matter. You can't get away from it. And it's very attractive because some will resist your flow more than you do. That's what creates connection. It's important to have both. Don't try to side with one or the other. Try to be the neutral zone, as it were, because that's what it is. When something negative happens, positive is there too, but which one are you giving your energy to? Give it to both. How can water be wrong? Connection has been the key to a lot of things, but disconnect. Connection and disconnect are positive and negative. But how are you flowing in it? Or resisting? We all don't want to be connected. Don't we? Or is that just thinking? One last question. Why would a man tell you that he needs? Why would a man tell you what he needs and then rejects it when you give what you want to him? Wait a minute. Let me make sure I read this right. Why would a man tell you what he needs and then rejects it when he rejects it when you give it to him? Why would a man tell you what he needs, then rejects it when you give it to him? Because he already gave up because he had to tell you. Now, I get it. That's fucked up, but that's the truth. Men don't know how to tell you what we need. We never learn. So when we have to end up telling you, it's probably at our last straw. And now when we tell you, it's like what Omar was saying before, I don't want a robot, right? Because now you're not being genuine about how you give it. And we're taking it that way, even if you are trying to be sincere and showing up for what we need. Here's the thing. If you sit down with somebody that you love, man or woman, and masculine energy is present, and you have a discussion about what you need, what's the first thing you say?
You say, I need you. But that you're thinking that.
Yes. So, Ron, when you say I need you, and they look at you, go, you need me? They'll ask it like a question in their head.
Right.
But then any rejection they've ever experienced in their life goes on high alert. Not because of you, but because of the question. Because here's the question. When have you ever shown up for somebody's needs when you still don't show up for your own?
You don't.
Right. So what we need has never been taught. So we're all in this space where it's not that we're rejecting them, right? It's not that we're telling you, hey, this is what I need. And now when you're doing like, no, don't even want it now, right? We're already in a space where we've told ourselves, you're connected to me. You should know what I need. Well, when did your mom ever do that? Your father? When did they ever show up for your needs? When did they teach you to vocalize your needs? Is there anybody watching this who could say, my parents told me, they showed me how to express my needs? Is anybody going to volunteer that? Any men on this panel right now can say, yeah, my mother and father taught me how to share and vocalize my needs. And any of the men watching, if your parents didn't do it, need you to go down below in the comments here. And I need you to put, nope, parents didn't do it either. Parents didn't, because I don't believe there's a myth in a mindset that we were taught. Women too. I don't think I've ever, in anybody who's found connection and found us, when we ask them, so where did you learn to express your needs? They're like, I didn't. We have yet to meet one person that says, I did. And then say, give me an example. And they actually come through with one. Never happened. Needs and wants are positive and negative in connection. What do you think the needs are? The resistance or the flow? Your wants, positive or the flow? See, the flow and the resistance are now your wants and needs. Always have been. You resist letting anyone be there for your needs, and you flow when they meet you in your wants. Make sense? So even though you tell them what you need, if they show up in your needs where nobody else has, not mom, not dad, not anybody in your life, you're going to reject it, because why would you believe it's genuine? Why would you let them give you something you need when you've never done it for yourself? So it's not that they rejected you. They rejected the fact that you could give them something they haven't given themselves. That's a hard pill to swallow.
They asked for it, but didn't even know how to receive it.
Ooh. And boy, this has been about receiving, hasn't it? This whole discussion, men, how do you feel about receiving love?
Vulnerable.
Now,
Scared to death.
Vulnerable.
That too. But that's all
Listen,
being part of being
now-
vulnerable and open, though.
now we feel like, let's say the men on the panel is feeling vulnerable because we understand. However, to me, it's still scared because really, I really don't know what love is until I really find it for myself. So how can I?
Hey, Omar,
Yes, sir.
is love a feeling or a thought? You're welcome.
It's a I think it's a thought.
Love is a thought.
But love is also an energy too.
As an energy, do you think it or feel it?
I know it. I'm trying to know it.
Do you notice you're abandoning the question?
Yes, I am.
Why? Why abandon it?
Bec-
Can you heal without the truth?
no,
Is love a feeling or a thought?
no, it's a feeling. I already know it's a feeling.
Right, right. So if it's a feeling, why second guess it? Why let your mind tell you what the feeling represents or take you away from it?
Okay, I know exactly what you're saying, and I understand. Love is a feeling. It all comes from the upbringing, like you said, and I want the love, but receiving the love,
What word do you think we heard you say?
I said, but I didn't say.
Yes,
however.
you did. Yes, you did.
I said, but. Did I say but? I said however.
Yeah, no, you said but. You said however.
I don't even like using the word but.
No
However,
matter what, you still chose an ass. Right? Your ass keeps putting yourself in handed situations.
Nah,
So,
you know,
here's a way to look at this though. We all know love is a feeling.
yes.
Do we all know we deserve it?
That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Anytime. Connection is way better than understanding. Do you know why? Connection has answers, understanding doesn't.
True.
And all of us feel that. We all feel that. And that's why I'm going to keep doing these, because who's doing it? There's no answers for any of us until we unite and connect to each other to go, hey, do you feel a bunch of stuff and nobody pay attention?
I think you said it perfectly earlier. There's a lot of self-help out there, but there's sure as hell not a lot of self-healing or healing anything out there,
No,
especially for this group.
man. And can you heal without connection?
No,
And can you heal without vulnerability?
no,
No.
Can you heal without the truth?
no.
Then that's why I united us. We all want connection, and the answers for that connection are so far hidden because we're afraid of our pain. And that's the only place you'll ever get your true answers. I'm so happy you guys came. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for holding the space.
Oh, the space is ours. And we're going to keep doing this until we all share in the answers. The answers, the beautiful part about this is it's not the awakened man. It's the conscious man, the man who doesn't require thought to feel. We don't believe such a thing exists because where do you see it? You don't see it in a tarot reading. You're not going to see it in an astrology chart. You're not going to see it, but you need to experience it because we're not all sitting up here in our heads all the time. We do feel. And in that feeling, we want to be connected to. That's what's so beautiful about the connection that found me. She didn't want to know what I think. She did, but she wanted it to lead her to what I actually felt. And once she actually did that, I had always told myself I would lose her, and I had to be right about that. So I sabotaged the shit out of it. You ever done that? Yeah, you know, where you want somebody to love you, but you'll sabotage the shit out of yourself so that way you can tell yourself why they can't love you, but not realizing that it's not you loving yourself. we all do it. Men and women, we do that so well, and we think we're so separate, but that connects us. Name one time that you actually allowed somebody to connect to your pain without you. Come on, you know the word, Omar. Never.
That's with the
I
and.
ain't saying that no more. You ain't trying to get me. That's the dead issue right there.
Listen, you know what? I want you to be able to do this. With one takeaway that everybody's going to take away from this men's soul chat is that never is the same infection they have. And it's an infection that we can cure with each other, with a dialogue, with an openness. We won't let anybody connect to us without openness. Just stop telling yourself, I'll never be open. You'll be surprised at how quickly someone will connect to you. You're not alone. You're never alone. That is the proper way to say it. You're always connected. Even when you believe you're not, because your mind is telling you no. I honor each one of you, men. I love you. Thank you for being.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah. 2 weeks. You guys want to do this again?
Sure, why not?
Without a doubt.
Now, if anybody wants to find any of you, just let me know and I'll post your email address so they can email you and tell you how they felt about it. And if you want, subscribe, because of course we're going to be doing a lot more of these. Next week's going to be, of course, an open forum. So men, if you'd like to join next week, feel free. There'll be men and women, and we're going to talk connection because, everybody gets stuck. But it's important that we all have a dialogue where everybody's connected so we can actually get some answers to our disconnect. You don't need to stay disconnected. Yes,
And
Omar.
I just feel that that's something that we need as men and women is a dialogue to understand our faults and non-faults and everything else that comes in between, that we can be connected at a, how can I say it, a better understanding. I think that we need that, because as men, we looking for the answers from the women, and I know women is looking for the answers of the men. And instead of really having the dialogue, we assume.
And when you have to assume, you have to go dip.
You make an ass out of everybody.
Well, when you assume, you have to dip into your feminine energy and masculine and go back to what you were rejected in. Nobody gets that understanding yet, but we will, because we can't heal what we won't tell ourselves the truth about. If your mother rejected you, your father rejected you, as men and women, it's time for us to put a healing in place so people can find it. There are children growing without this right now. We're going to be the stop of that.
Amen.
Connection is the key to all of our healing. We've misunderstood that for way too long, and I'm not going to be here anymore to stand for it, neither is Sherry. She's getting a slipper because we got finished business to do.
It's coming soon.
Her
liver's coming soon.
Absolutely. It'll be here before Thanksgiving.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. We love you.
Love you.
And thank you to our moderators for hosting the live chat. Sorry if you didn't catch this live. The live chat, of course, may or may not be visible because it's Zoom. Sorry. Sherry and I do have a video coming out soon. She's working on it, so it'll be out soon. But know that we love you. Men, women, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Until next time.
Absolutely. 2 weeks, gentlemen.
Whatever's like
And
that.
whatever topic you would like for us men to
No.
really tackle and really go into, know that we're not holding anything back from the depth.
No.
We can't heal each other if we're not going deep.
Nope. That's what me and Amy are doing.
Yeah. Amy, by the way, he's talking to. Amy's also been on the YouTube live stream. She's making sure that everybody in there, she's moderating. She also does root camp. I believe also Larissa is doing it as well. So if you guys are looking to do root camp and you need to go deep, we're right here. You cannot connect to you if you don't know you. But do you really know who you're not? Because that is the path of connection. It's showing up who you're not showing up who you think you are. Stay tuned. We'll see you